pandemic, I say again, is not over. Our role in reentry, our role, every last one of us, is to continue ensuring acceptance for justice-involved individuals.
And then the biggest thing we were dealing with was the trauma that a lot of our gentlemen were dealing with. It was just not being locked up. It was the trauma of coming home to a pandemic and not being able to move the way that they would normally move. So we also utilized our staff when it came to our therapists, which were probably one of the bigger things that we did via the phone versus how we would normally do it face-to-face.
A lot of that time, that was emotional intelligence that was caused by the effects of violence and PTSD of an individual as they grow up in some of the communities that they grow up in. We look at friendships, people not knowing how to deal with each other properly and use those interpersonal skills or life skills to deal with each other properly, which leads to infighting amongst friends, and then professional within the workplace. And that's what we're at when we look at getting a person placed on a job. Is we deal with the other three topics, but what's important to individuals, how to be professional on a job. What's your profession? How do you use your emotional intelligence to keep you in a position where you can keep your job and be successful on your job?
I was only a high school student, having a young kid at the age of 15, and at 17, when I had a bright future, was given a felony conviction instead, because I did not understand that not having money in the bank and writing a check and letting it bounce was actually a felony. And so at that particular time, when I was only a 17-year-old kid, I didn't necessarily need a prison sentence. I more likely needed a social worker, but they saw me as more of a statistic than as a young adult that just needed some support from the community that I was being reared in.
Systemic racism and policies that have basically disadvantaged a large portion of the city. And so it's with that understanding that I approach my work. It's with a racial equity lens. It's with being disruptive and saying, how can we reimagine systems, and how can we, once again, plan, be strategic, and create initiatives where we're working together.
They have moved toward a more trauma-informed care. And by that, all the staff were trained, and then they did train the trainers, so it's ongoing.
Because the local justice system does not fall under one single government authority, a legal forum like the CJCC is necessary to establish so that state and local criminal justice agencies and elected and appointed officials can convene together and drive change together.